Hello guys! Forget your usual action movies. This time, we're diving into a story where a hero must face terrorists alone inside the enemy's base, which happens to be none other than the White House. Alright then, without further ado, let's jump straight into the discussion. And if you enjoy this channel, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss out on other exciting videos from latest movie stories. The film begins at Camp David, the presidential retreat of the United States. We see President Benjamin Asher training in boxing with his personal Secret Service agent, Mike Banning. After finishing the training, Mike escorts the president to attend a fundraising event. While getting ready, the president's son, Connor Asher, insists on riding in the same car with Mike.
Okay, all right.
Mike agreed and allowed Connor to accompany him. He then ordered Agent Dave Forbes to stay behind and guard Camp David. Once everything was ready, the president's motorcade and security team departed. On the way, Mike told everyone to always be alert.
Come on, scoot back, put your belt on.
Suddenly, the president's car nearly plunges off a bridge due to the bad weather.
Jay Connor, stay right there.
Mike and the others immediately rushed to help. Mike managed to save the president from the car, but unfortunately, the First Lady couldn't be rescued and fell into the ravine along with the vehicle. Mike still feels deeply guilty for failing to protect the president's family. 18 months later, he is shown having breakfast with his wife, Leah Banning, trying to live a normal life after being reassigned to a desk job. Leah tries to open up to Mike, but he's too distracted by the news on TV. Feeling ignored, Leah gets upset. Realizing his mistake, Mike quickly tries to calm her down and promises to finally take her on the vacation they've been planning to rekindle their relationship. That afternoon, during a break, Mike enjoys a cup of coffee with Lynn Jacobs, director of the Secret Service. While they chat, they are approached by Mike's former colleague who once guarded the president at Camp David, Roma O'Neill, and a new agent.
Yes, ma'am.
Roma asked Mike what his current job was. Mike replied that he was now working at the Department of the Treasury. His colleagues then left to attend to their assignments.
Yeah, you too. Come Thursday now, all right? Okay.
The scene shifts to a presidential meeting. During the meeting, Alan Trumbull, a representative of the American people, states that the South Korean Minister of Defense, Lee Tae-woo, wants to issue a joint statement with the president. They are threatening military action to force North Korea to retreat from the border and stop their missile tests. The Secretary of Defense, Ruth McMillan, then argues that what Trumbull suggested could make the United States appear to be bluffing at North Korea. The president then asks for the opinion of Vice President Charlie Rodriguez, who agrees with Secretary Ruth's statement.
I agree with Ruth on this one, Mr. President.
The South Korean delegation has now arrived at the White House. Agent Roma greets the South Korean Prime Minister Lee Tae-woo. Lee also introduces his head of security to Roma, named Kang Yeon-sak. Let's just call him Park. In the northern skies of Virginia, an unidentified aircraft enters restricted U.S. airspace. 2 American fighter jets quickly arrive and order the aircraft to leave immediately. Otherwise, they would be shot down. Without hesitation, the unidentified plane deploys its side-mounted weapons and fires at the U.S. fighter jets, destroying them instantly. The aircraft then heads toward Washington, D.C., where President Asher is holding a meeting with Prime Minister Lee.
Sorry to have disrupted your vacation. Please, I'm glad you could come.
Roma quickly informs the president that an attack has just occurred. The presidential security forces immediately escort everyone to the underground bunker. All White House security personnel prepare to confront the assault.
Harden down on Olympus.
The suspicious plane flew low over Washington, D.C. It then opened fire on the civilians below. Seeing this, Mike immediately rushed toward the White House. As the White House security fired missiles at the aircraft, it managed to evade them. The newly arrived U.S. fighter jets immediately fired their missiles at the ghost aircraft, successfully bringing it down. Mike, who had just arrived in front of the White House, was suddenly caught in a bomb explosion, causing nearby civilians to panic and scatter. Amid the chaos, Mike spotted two suspicious individuals aiming their guns at him. However, Mike quickly shot them. One of the assailants managed to detonate a suicide bomb, blowing up the fence of the White House. The disguised civilians then took out their weapons and launched an attack on the White House security forces. Inside the bunker, something unexpected happens. The presidential agents, Forbes, Park, and their men, open fire on all of the U.S. president's security forces present. The president is shocked to realize that Agent Forbes has betrayed them. Outside the White House, a truck arrived. They unloaded automatic weapons and immediately opened fire on all White House security personnel. The attack resulted in the White House security personnel falling. Now, only Mike remained. The terrorists had successfully taken control of the White House. Inside the bunker, one of Park's men, named Lim, shut down the security monitoring system, allowing the terrorists outside to overpower and eliminate all the remaining guards outside the bunker. As night fell, the terrorists lowered the American flag and tossed it aside in a show of defiance. Then they launched a drone and cut the power to the White House, plunging the entire building into darkness. Mike made his move, heading straight to the monitoring room, where he swiftly took down the terrorists stationed there. Mike then shut down all the security cameras to prevent the terrorists from tracking his movements. The White House was now completely under terrorist control. From inside the bunker, they contacted the Pentagon, led by Edward Clegg. During the transmission, Prime Minister Lee Tae-woo was seen being executed by the terrorists.
Oh my God.
Park then appeared on the screen, announcing that he had captured the president and other top military officials. He ordered Edward to withdraw all U.S. forces immediately. Fearing for the president's safety, Edward had no choice but to comply. Inside the bunker, Forbes told the president that he had betrayed his country because the president had sold out the United States long before he did. The president calmly replied that it was all just Forbes' excuse to justify his betrayal.
Me? What about you?
Park then ordered his men to find the president's son, Connor. Meanwhile, at the Pentagon, because both the president and vice president were incapacitated, Speaker Alan Trumbull was officially appointed as acting president of the United States under the protection of the Secretary of Defense. Elsewhere, Mike went to the Oval Office and retrieved the president's satellite phone, contacting the Pentagon. Jacobs informed Mike that the president was being held hostage inside the bunker. Mike asked what the terrorists wanted, but the Pentagon still had no information. Jacobs then told him that Connor, the president's son, was likely still somewhere inside the White House.
Well, they're looking for him.
Suddenly, one of the terrorists entered the Oval Office. Seeing this, Mike immediately attacked the terrorist and effortlessly killed him. Back at the Pentagon, Park stated his demands. He wanted Trumbull to withdraw the 7th Fleet from the Sea of Japan and pull all American troops out of the demilitarized zone. If Trumbull didn't comply, Park threatened to execute the officials there one by one. He gave them until dawn to decide.
One by one. And they're
Trumbull then ordered the nuclear storage sites to be secured and instructed his team to contact North Korea, Russia, China, the United Kingdom, and France to discuss the situation. Inside the bunker, Park demanded the Cerberus Code. Admiral Nathan Honig was about to be executed in front of the president. Unable to bear seeing this, the president ordered the admiral to give the code. The first Cerberus Code was successfully obtained. Cerberus is the only code capable of preventing the nuclear weapons from reaching their targets. The Cerberus Code is held by only 3 people: the president, the Secretary of Defense, and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, all of whom were now inside the White House bunker.
fail-safe in the case of
Trumbull then ordered Mike to change the Cerberus Code. Ray Monroe explained that the only way to change the code was directly through the computer itself, which was also located inside the bunker. Trumbull then instructed Mike to immediately find Connor and get him out of there. Otherwise, they would use Connor to threaten the president. Inside the bunker, Park spotted Mike on the CCTV cameras. Forbes explained to Park that Mike was not someone to worry about. Nevertheless, Park still ordered his men to locate Mike. Mike then went to Lincoln's bedroom, while the terrorists were also heading there. Upon arrival, they found the room empty. Park then announced that Mike was hiding in the walls. Meanwhile, Mike had already found Connor hiding behind the wall. He contacted the Pentagon to report that Connor had been found and would be rescued shortly. Suddenly, the terrorists opened fire on the wall. Fortunately, Mike and Connor managed to escape safely. Mike then led Connor to an air vent in the northwest corner of the ground floor. He instructed Connor to climb out through the air vent. About halfway through, a terrorist appeared. Mike quickly defeated him and then instructed Connor to continue climbing up the air vent to get out. Outside the White House, the military forces went to pick up Connor and successfully got him out of the building. Inside the White House, Mike successfully captured 2 of the terrorists. It turned out that the leader of the terrorists was actually Kang Yonsak, also known as Park, the head of a paramilitary organization.
You speak English?
The Pentagon then investigated who Kang Yonsak was. It turned out he was one of the most wanted terrorists in the world. He had been taken from the demilitarized zone as a child after his father was executed for crimes against North Korea. During their crossing, his mother was killed by a US landmine. He also carried out a bombing in 2004 at the British Embassy in Seoul and trafficked uranium enrichment technology from Pakistan. The scene shifts to inside the bunker. Park orders Forbes to kill Mike immediately. He then demands the Cerberus code from the Secretary of Defense, but the Secretary refuses to hand it over.
No!
Because the Secretary of Defense refused to give the code, he was tortured. The President, unable to bear seeing the torture, ordered the Secretary to provide the Cerberus code. The second Cerberus code was successfully entered.
The second Cerberus code has been entered.
Meanwhile, Forbes had managed to locate Mike. At that moment, Forbes pretended to be on the US side. However, when Forbes mentioned the name Kang Yonsak, aka Park, Mike realized Forbes' true allegiance. A fight between them became inevitable, and Mike eventually managed to stab Forbes in the chest. Mike asked, "Why are you doing all this, Forbes?" Forbes replied, "Because I lost my way." Mike then told Forbes to inform Park that he had killed Mike, as a way to atone for his actions. After that, Mike killed Forbes. Inside the Pentagon, through satellite surveillance, they discovered that there were only 4 guards on the rooftop. Without any air defenses, the terrorists would be vulnerable to an aerial assault. Seeing this, Trumbull ordered the Air Force to retake the White House.
Your defense grid gone.
Mike suggested checking the rooftop first to ensure it was safe, but Trumbull refused to heed his advice. The Air Force unit, called Team Tiger, then took off toward the White House. Park observed Team Tiger's movements through a drone he had previously deployed. Upon arriving at the White House, Team Tiger was immediately fired upon by the Hydra weapon, controlled by Lim, Park's female assistant from inside the bunker. One by one, Team Tiger's helicopters were shot down. Seeing this, Trumbull ordered the mission to be aborted, but it was too late. The last helicopter had already been hit. Seeing this, Mike fired a missile at the Hydra weapon and successfully destroyed it. He then dropped himself to avoid the falling helicopter heading toward him. Park then killed one of the officials there because Trumbull refused to follow his orders. Now, there's only 1 hour left to withdraw the 7th Fleet and all troops.
Next. You now have 1 hour.
Then, Park requested a fully fueled helicopter at the North White House lawn. Mike got back up and contacted the Pentagon again.
I don't work for you. We've been trying to reach you, son. Are you okay?
Trumbull spoke to Mike, telling him he had 30 minutes to save the president. Mike was the only person left in the White House. He then called Park, threatening to kill him immediately. Park looked furious.
See it. I guess you don't know who you can trust, huh?
Park and his henchmen then dragged the Secretary of Defense out of the bunker. Park ordered the secretary to leave the White House immediately. He was about to be executed in front of the American public, but Mike managed to stop it. The Secretary of Defense was successfully rescued. Having run out of time, Trumbull then ordered a helicopter to be sent to Park and commanded the withdrawal of the 7th Fleet from the Sea of Japan, along with all troops from the demilitarized zone.
Reports that the US 7th Fleet has been directed to...
All the terrorists inside the bunker then put on matching outfits and together exited the White House. The American snipers couldn't tell who was the president and who was Park because they all wore the same outfits. They all managed to board the helicopter successfully. Just after takeoff, the helicopter exploded. Trumbull and the others were shocked and assumed the president was dead. Mike then contacted the Pentagon and said, "This doesn't make sense. It's a diversion." He refused to believe that Park had died in the helicopter. Mike still suspected that Park was inside, holding the president hostage. Upon returning to the White House, unbeknownst to everyone, Park and his remaining men were indeed still in the bunker with the president. At this point, the third Cerberus code had already been entered and activated. Park didn't intend to launch the missiles directly, but the nuclear storage facilities had been rigged to explode, which would in turn trigger the missiles. Tens of millions of American lives would be lost, and the United States would be left cold and dark after the nuclear detonations. Only 5 minutes remained.
Your country will be a cold, dark, nuclear...
Park then dragged the president out of the bunker by blowing up a wall that had been rigged with explosives earlier. Suddenly, Mike appeared and opened fire on Park's men. In the chaos, Park managed to shoot the president in the abdomen. Seeing this, Mike rushed at him, and a brutal hand-to-hand fight broke out between the two. Mike successfully killed Park. Mike then approached the president and treated him to stop the bleeding in his stomach. Afterward, the president instructed Mike to deactivate Cerberus. The Pentagon then guided Mike in stopping Cerberus.
Lima.
And finally, Cerberus was successfully deactivated. With the strength he had left, Mike carried the president out of the White House. Everyone at the Pentagon watched with pride for what Mike had accomplished. The president was reunited with his son, Connor, while Mike was met by his wife, Leah. At the end of the film, the president delivers a speech, declaring that America will rise again, renewed, stronger, and united, to lead by example with dignity, integrity, and honor that will rebuild the United States of America. And that's it. The craziest solo action you'll ever see in Olympus Has Fallen. This movie absolutely nails the action. The gunfights are fast, brutal, and non-stop. Sure, the story is pretty straightforward and packed with those classic American action cliches, but that's exactly what makes it fun. No overthinking needed. The message behind the film reminds us that true resilience and loyalty never fade, even after being cast aside. Mike Banning shows us that when everyone else gives up and runs away, a true hero stands his ground, using whatever he has to protect the weak. Thanks for watching till the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more high-octane movie reviews like this one.